And here we go.
Oh, thank you, Baptiste. Oh.
Thank you. 2, 1. Attackers.
Got Reinhardt. You got a Zarya and a Bap and an Anna. You're in heaven.
Yeah, this was a pretty good game.
Okay, so we're gonna push out here with some barrier. This isn't a super big deal. The timing sort of sucks. I'd have probably still used a fire strike here. Like, just try to get some value out of the bubble by going like, hey, I'm gonna maybe fire strike and get most of the fire strike done before the bubble is over at these guys as you continue to rotate. Because the bubble's offering you your protection, you don't need your shield, you at least put your shield down, but we can get a little more out of it. Okay.
Yeah, this Winston caught me by surprise.
Well, okay. Oh boy. Where are parts of the enemy team holding? Like, this is a little scary. Great. So we're going to praise where our team is and praise the situation. We're not going to just shield against a Bastion. That's not what we're going to do.
Yeah, this first time I saw Bastion.
Okay. So you sort of did want to wait for a second here to gather your team, and you did, but you didn't want to be giving away shield while you did that. You wanted to like do a quick check behind you to see if they were here, and if they weren't, tuck in here or back up a couple steps so the high ground protects you. Now you're pushing in, which is okay, but you're pushing in without much resource. Like, your shield's down at 300. You're going to have a tough time stabilizing, and your health's sort of at a point where you'd already think about stabilizing, right?
Yeah, it looks like I rushed it.
A little bit. Like, you went to all that trouble to earn the rotation. It took you 30 seconds to earn that rotation, and now you're rushing it a bit. And you see your team, like, your team is low health, but is your team really in danger of losing anyone? The Winston just left. So if you don't push in right now, was your team going to lose anyone?
No, they were safe.
Right.
I feel like I was rushing it.
You were. You wanted the Winston. I get it.
Someone's gonna get picked off.
Oh, see, I figured you were rushing it because you were like, hey, I want to take down the Winston while he's sort of low on health, while he's sort of low on resources. But yeah, I also get that you're afraid someone's going to get picked off, and you do want to maximize your number of pushes, but a more advanced level of maximizing your number of pushes is actually understanding the resource balance back and forth. And if you look at the resource balance back and forth, we can cheat because we're in spectator mode, but they're ahead on resources, right?
Yeah, this adds up now. I'm seeing this from a new perspective in terms of my shield health and just kind of dropping in early.
Yep. All good. Almost. You're going to back out a little to stabilize. Fine. Shield the storm, clear the discord, counterpin. Huh. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's my reflexes.
Huh, all good. Oh no. Back.
Bastion.
Okay. So it's not amazing, but like, it's not terrible the situation we're in either. You're doing this. Is your team ready to push off this? Kinda, maybe, sorta?
I think it's about as ready as they're gonna be.
Okay. Good. Shield. You can't get any more limbs. The pin was the only trick you had to get a limbs there. Why are we swinging? Okay.
Enemy contact.
Over here. Amplification matrix ready.
Here it comes.
My ultimate is charging.
Do we really want to push in while they still control high ground?
I mean, in a perfect world, no, but
Okay.
all my teammates are down here, and there's no way I'm gonna get them up there with me.
No, for sure. I don't actually care about getting your teammates up here. Hopefully Ash will rotate up herself with her coach weapon. But if you push this way instead, you're going to force the opponents to leave off this place. Which this time, it worked out of, hey, Ash took Bap down and Winston's going to leave now. But, like, if Ash hadn't hit that shot, and that's kind of a hard shot, right? Or maybe it was Anna that, no, I guess it was both of them. Ash Ash was having to like shoot up into the high ground here, right? Like that's not something that we necessarily expect our average teammate to get away with against an equally skilled opponent. So like doing this, if your teammate stays on it behind you, that's fantastic, and now you have an Ash perched up here, and that's great. But at the very least, you're almost certainly going to force these guys to leave, and you're sort of corralling them into worse positioning. Like if we look at this team, if this team is spread out and they've got people here and people here, pushing into that, like this would be nightmarish. We're getting crushed from all sides. If we rotate through here and push through here, now these people go down and potentially rotate back here. And now the opponents are only here and here. And then we complete our rotation and go here and go like this and push them and we squish them further. And now they're just right here. And our team is pushing from here and from here. You follow?
Oh, so you think that, because what I was thinking about was, don't worry about the high ground right now because they're probably going to push back. But I was like, I just got to catch up with my Zarya. And because the Zarya's been here this whole time I was in spawn, they probably know where we ought to be going right now.
Oh,
So I was just trying to team up with Zarya, really.
sure.
But
And
yeah, I see, like, you're suggesting that we could have split from both sides, potentially?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that your Zarya splits from you. So your Zarya may end up going with you to the right, or she may not. She's going to need someone that she can bubble, so she doesn't like to split with structures like this thing between her and her Reinhardt. Like if you're here and she's here, she has some trouble bubbling you, and she doesn't like that. But that doesn't mean that you can't end up in a situation where... Who's your other DPS? Where... Okay. So, where you have Widow threatening from here while Ashe is up here and you and Zarya are pressing this way or something. Probably not going to happen in this case. You'd be more likely to have like a Tracer or someone control over here, but that's fine. You can drop and go like this, or you can clear this high ground, and then if you want, after clearing this high ground, you can drop and you could come left and push from this direction with Zarya while your Ashe threatens from here. Like, you can do it, but taking away their high ground is good because it means they can't crush you from multiple directions as easily anymore, and B, it encourages your teammates to stay on the high ground, to be left behind as Widows, as Ashes on the high ground to do work from there. You follow?
Yeah, I see all the options now. Thanks for pointing that out.
Sure. Ouch. Oof. Never gonna finish. No way! Okay, wow.
Yeah, but I did it.
Well, that was fun.
I will fire.
Yeah, pretty chaotic.
Just to victory. I'm up with fire.
Escort the payload.
I'll feel certain. Don't worry, my friend. I am your shield.
Okay, so what are we doing? Are we pushing up to Reinhardt to swing at him? Are we backing out to cover? Are we pushing up to that pillar over there and using that as our new cover? What are we doing?
Is it planning to hold right there until the payload caught up, and then Winston was on top of me and I was taking more damage than I had anticipated?
Right, but you were planning to hold over here, right?
Yeah, I was trying to hold right there.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why I'm walking that way.
Okay, so now that you're here, where are you going?
Back.
Okay. That doesn't look like back. That doesn't look like back.
It took me a second to decide, but I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Now, you'll see what happened here. He's slow on it. But he's trying to punish you for a fire strike. Now, he's slow and you actually had time to block this, but Reinhardt's will do that. They watch each other for fire strikes. No. No, so this is
Yeah,
what
this
we
was a
talked about
terrible
before.
decision.
Exactly. So again, we can keep our shield up. We can keep our shield up and back up until Winston's in front of us and swing at us. We can keep our shield up and then get behind cart. We can do any of that. We could even walk at these guys and swing, and that would be better than what we're doing. But turning around and charging, we're just going to get destroyed by the Zen and the Bap that are staring at us. Like, absolutely destroyed. To help our team, we really didn't need help. We just have to assume that our team can 3v1 the Winston. I know, but we have to assume that they can do it.
Yeah, I think that was the moment that epitomized my question, like where I just panicked.
Yep. Fire strike. Okay, so you want to recognize these? You don't particularly like this bubble. You can't swing with this bubble. What's the next best thing you can do with the bubble?
Draw my shield and fire strike. I was just draw my shield and walk, but
yeah, which is sort of like the third best thing you can do. But the second
Yeah.
best thing you can do is might as well fire strike. Okay, I'm only gonna get BAP.
Double.
Okay, I get this, but that's a tank. Let's put our shield back up. Like, I get that you're nano, half damage. Let's put the shield back up. And let's just... No. We're not going to reach him with our hammer yet. We need to be another step closer. You just let him shoot you in the shoulder there. Like... Okay. I'm glad you had the nano to survive that.
yeah, it's. I feel like I have a good plan, and then when something changes, I'm just like, oh my god, what do I do now?
Yep.
You can't make up my mind.
And I get that, and that's why we try to train habits, so that it takes less brain power to do some of this stuff, so that you have more brain power free to change your plan, if you get what I'm saying. Just clear, we like it. Notice how your team's not getting rolled as you're dealing with the Winston this time, and you're not getting rolled as you're dealing with the Winston, and I'm just illustrating the example.
Yeah, let me see this more closely again.
So the Winston comes in, and you sort of turn around to deal with him, but you're basically immediately in this situation where he's in front of you when you're still in front of your team again. And when it's like
Yeah.
this, it's going to go pretty well. Now, this is a bad engage from him, don't get me wrong, but the bad engage, it's bad engage because it lets you do that.
Yeah, he was just being greedy because he knew he had more promo.
Yep. Okay, so that's 2 bad shield flashes. Okay, you have like no shield left. Shield isn't regenerating yet. Ooh, and before it can start regenerating, you flash it again. Not really for any good reason, right? This didn't really do anything good for you.
Nope.
But it starts your timer on when your shield starts regaining health again. So even when you put the shield down, see how it's not immediately regaining health?
Yeah.
And it starts regaining health, and then you put this up. Is this shield useful to you? Like, if
Yeah.
you see a hook or something, or a sleep dart, yeah, absolutely, an earth shatter, absolutely. You put this shield up to block it, even if you lose your shield in doing so. But I don't see any of these things.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
you-
trying to figure out what's going on at this point. And
Right.
I'm, like, oh, I'm walking forward with my shield now. Yeah.
Right, but you see how it's like, this is actually hurting your shield management, because we're still not regenerating shield yet. Oh, and we got like 20 shield before we pop it again. Like, and we still can't do anything with a less than 400 health shield. Good, I like the angle. Clear the Discord. It's fine, you can just turtle push the point.
And now
Okay.
Zarya is dead, and I'm like,
Yeah, but they're down 1-2. Just break the angle on the Zen, and it turns out there's someone here that you could be swinging on.
here we go.
Yeah, you unfortunately realized he was there too late.
Yep.
That's life. You'd been doing a pretty good habit of sort of taking some of these outside angles to surprise the opponents, to have better angles for fire strikes, to make the opponents unhappy, but didn't quite do it there.
Thank you, my friend. Move the payload.
Wait for it, wait for it. Is your team ready for you to push?
We're getting close. Soldiers coming up, and I think everyone else is there. Oh no!
Okay, you gotta stop it. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. You get the purple here, it works out, cool. You're Nano, and I get that you want to swing while you're Nano. Can you eliminate any of these heroes? Or any of these heroes purple?
Transcendence is definitely doing the job now.
Yes, yes. So, we just shield. I don't care that we're nanoed, we just shield.
I'm just getting started.
Instead, we're in this situation where we were nanoed all this time, and we just did nothing with, 340 health there? We just did nothing of use with it, except we spent it on nothing.
Giving out.
If you were really cool, what you do here. Is you'd see this Pharah, and you'd take 2 steps forward and jump to get your shield sort of right in her face, and that would cause those missiles do friendly fire to her specifically. So they'd blow up on your shield, and they'd also destroy her.
Oh, that would be cool.
So you'd be like, oh, let me take 2 steps forward and leap type thing. And this is your Ashe's TNT, so no big danger there. So you jump up, and you're like, boop, and you just destroy her. It'll, shred your shield, but she gets
Yeah,
eliminated.
she'll be dead.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got our Sigma swap because we feel like that's our solution when we're struggling into double shield. This is not double shield. That's a, what's that?
And the Pharah.
The Pharah, okay. Okay. If your Zarya is playing from here, where do we need to play from? Still looks like you're doing a Reinhardt impersonation to me. If you're playing Sigma, where do you need to play from?
I need to swing over to the left further.
Yeah, you could go over here and threaten from here. You could have, in theory, gone from here as well. You'd have had to deal with this first, but you could have gone from here as well. But yeah, you need to swing over and play to the left further. That's going to work just fine as a solution.
I'm just kind of slow with it here. Nope, didn't do it.
Someone swinging left. Hold up. Hold up. Soldier just swung through left and took you. If you'd been left, you would have seen that you would have taxed him a little on the way there. Maybe you'd have forced an early heal station for him. But okay.
60 seconds.
We're not going to rock him? No, that's so sad.
60 seconds.
If you hit him with rock, he doesn't slam anyone, including you. He can still get the lift off because he's going to get that off before you hit him with the rock, but you can absolutely just try to rock him. I don't care if you miss, just try to hit him with your rock here, because if he gets stunned by a rock, a hook, a flashbang, a sleep dart, any of that stuff, the flux is over, which would be great because it saves you from just losing 50% of your health like that.
Barrier's about to break.
deal with this,
seconds
but we
remaining.
don't then want to come in like this. Like, our team has some degree of control over this. We can probably go up here and fight this Zen now, right? Like, we force them in.
Panicking, time to go to the cart.
Okay.
That was my thought.
You've got 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
10 seconds. That overtime, you just need to touch it before it touches 0. Well, between 3 seconds and 0. Don't activate overtime. This looks way too clustered. I want to go left. I don't want to stack on card. Oh, it's your nemesis. Transcendence. You're going to rock that, right? Like 100% you're going to rock that?
Won't hold together.
But you're rock. You're rock.
I just totally forgot about my rock when I swapped to Sigma this time.
What?
I was in Reinhardt mode and trying to land my ult.
Yep. You're going to do that. That helps a lot. You're going to swing left side to the window's a little less oppressive to you. No, left side. We're not fighting them through the window.
Activating the barrier.
That's immediate. Again, we were more interested in over here just because it's like the window's a little less dangerous to us with a little more cart here as opposed to here. But that's okay.
Yeah, honestly, I think I was confused as to if it was my window or their window. Yeah. It took me a minute to figure it out.
Yep. Understandable. Okay, round 2.
Yeah, let's pick.
Ready for battle.
Looks like so roses.
Is that it?
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Look at this team. We're gonna do great.
Ready for battle. 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Gonna make you feel better.
Defend objective A.
Follow me.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. So this is what you were talking about before, where you're unsure what to do when you feel your team holds up too far forward. That's fine.
Group up here.
Let's look at this for a second. And if we hold that far forward, potentially we're going to have the issue of what if someone goes behind us and backcaps. Is that your concern?
I'm afraid that I'm going to line aside my supports and or they're just going to
Sure.
do something. I don't know what their comp is yet. They could just put an ice wall up or
Yep.
they could, it could be anything.
Well, an ice wall's
I-
not too scared of you. Like, if you're set here, it's like, where are they going to ice wall? Like, you're fine if you set up here. But you're right. Your Anna being back there means you can't be up here. I agree. I agree. And if your Anna was up here, you'd have a, well, what if they said like a tracer or a ball to the point type thing. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, the backcapping, I guess, doesn't concern me as much as every time I've tried to hold up there, like anytime I follow people up there, they just die and then I'm there and I'm dead next.
Yep.
It's just like every single time. So
Okay.
I just kind of decided to stay back there.
Sure. Fine with me. So you're going to throw your Fire Strike. And then you'd just be saying into comms, pull back, and you'd start to rotate the team back, because there's nothing more to be had up here. Okay.
Precision German.
Sure. Steve is doing what he's supposed to relieve some pressure for her team. You're getting some Fire Strike sniper credit, apparently.
Yeah, but I still have like 0 ult charge. So
I
I
know.
haven't done anything.
I know. I get it. Play right here. Playing right here is fine. Okay. 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 Think May's still an ice block?
Yeah, and I know she's the biggest threat, but I also know that when we're getting attacked from both sides
Sure.
and someone's that low, it's really tempting to just
Sure. So
I
let's.
felt like I tried to deal with the Mei as the biggest threat,
Sure.
and then I saw the opportunity to kill the Sigma, so I just did it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So you drove this mostly correct. I just wanted to point something out. So here we are. You do that. You deal with the Mei, who's the biggest. She's inside your team. She's a problem. You force the defensive cooldown, and you don't let her just take all of your attention while she's like this. You swap on to the next target, which is good. I can tell that she just ice blocked right here, but I get it. Your sense isn't going to be there yet. That's fine. So you go do this, and your for next thing should be, now I want to swap back to Mei, because you sort of put a mental flag down when she used her defensive cooldown. That means she's going to be vulnerable when she comes out of that, right?
Yeah, she's gonna be surrounded by everybody.
Right. So you should work your way back to Mei. No, I don't care about what's going on over here. And sure enough, there's the Mei over there. I don't know what you're shielding. Like, okay. There's a hot
Trying to
zone, maybe.
evaluate the situation because I just don't know what happened at that during that fight. You know, I'm just kind of gathering my bearings.
Okay.
Basically.
They're about to give you a shatter. You don't have time, good.
With me.
Just leave. Just turn it. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
But try to save my Zarya.
Yeah, no, and I totally get trying to save your side, but Blizzard is over, right?
Now it is,
And you're nanoed.
and it's time to get to work.
It's time to go forward hard. We can't have our shield up, because if we put our shield up, maybe we're able to save our Zarya, but are we going to be able to save our Lucio? Like, we need to get, A, we need to potentially get a trade back here, but B, we need to get in front of our team in a hurry here. And I'm being picky, but that's a long time for your shield to sort of be up there. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, we need to close that distance. And then you sort of have a stutter step if you're not sure where you're going. We needed that space. Good.
My ultimate is charging.
I mean, I was good with continuing to swing. What don't you like about this situation?
I'm afraid that she has the rockets.
Okay. If she pops rockets, you'll shield them.
My ultimate
Yeah, I
is
could.
charging.
Yeah, I could just wait for it.
Yeah, like I'm good with this. I feel like you've got reasonably good stuff. Your Anna can see you. Yeah, she's got a mercy beam now. Yeah, there's a Mei in your team, but I'm not worried. Like, these matter. Like, you actually do, even though I'm like, hey, make sure you're aware of your health, make sure you know that, you shield when it makes sense to shield. You went down to like 360, 320 health. You were never out of armor against her. I was never that scared for your life. Were you?
I mean, I wasn't afraid I was gonna die, but I was just erring on the side of caution.
Sure, and I get that. We just want to make sure that we can calibrate that tightly. You will be fine erring on the side of caution now, but we do want to calibrate that very finely in terms of get the swings that you can get, shield when you need to, and that was a little on the passive side, but that's okay. Okay. I know it's micro missile and all, but like, I gotta swing at the Mercy Mei. I gotta, right? Like, you've got 349 health here. Look at that juicy swing. Okay, fine. Good. Got your shield up. And now you're gonna shield.
Triple.
Does this seem like a good fire strike on the other hand?
No,
Why?
in retrospect,
Okay.
I'm just too low, and I mean I'm trying to fire strike as I'm moving into cover.
You're
So
a little
Lisa
early
did
for that, but yeah.
But yeah, that was my idea. You know, what I was trying to do. I was like, look, I got my fire strike.
Yep.
Let's get the damage out there. I'm about to be safe.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just kind of, on the other end of the pendulum of what we just talked about, I
Yep,
guess.
exactly. It's just not quite right. It's not like, oh, this is wildly dangerous. It's a Moira and a Diva without micro missiles. They're not going to take you down. But, like, you also, it's a Diva. She's going to DM it, and you're not behind cover quickly enough in your unwind animation.
Glory, my friend. My ultimate is
But I like
ready.
that you were reaching
Your
for it, that
take.
you were reaching for the right timing there. And you're going to be wrong sometimes on the way to getting it right. Not a big deal.
Thank you.
Understood.
Universum synchronize.
Sure. What do you see?
Maze alone, I've got support behind me, and I just don't want to get frozen. Is the
Yep.
main thing. I'm like scared of getting frozen.
Yep, but she's going to take a moment to freeze you, and you need to play against Maze a little bit to get a feel for how they freeze you. Because you do want to get some hammer pressure on her, so, like, you want to get a swing on her, and then you want to put your shield up and keep your shield up and keep your shield between her and you for those freeze particles to fall off, and then once they've fallen off, you want to get another swing off. That's sort of how you fight Maze in a semi 1v1 environment, which is what you're in right now. So you actually want
Close enough to swing? Is that close enough to swing right there?
Well, if you'd taken a step forward rather than back, it would have been. You literally
Okay.
just took a step backwards.
Yeah.
And now you're shielding, but I'm still going to walk at her while shielding, because I'm not worried about you getting frozen. You're not that close to getting frozen right now. Oh, she just gave that to you. Beautiful. Okay, and again, we can potentially push her and get our swing off. Like, she doesn't have defensives. We want to be a little careful, because we're going to line aside our Ana. Okay, that's fine. Pin? We're not going to take this opportunity to pin the Sleeping Diva?
I saw the rest of the team coming, and I was scared.
Okay.
Plus, plus I saw the shatter.
Okay, what's your plan? She just threw the blizzard and you just saw where it went. So you going to, and you don't have pin. So what's your plan?
I hope I don't die. That was my plan at this point.
Are you going to shield? Are you going to swing? Are you going to go backwards? Are you going to
shield
go
the
forward?
whole time. I'm pretty sure I'm right now. I'm saying hold my shield as long as I possibly can. Pretty sure that's what I do here.
Okay. Okay, so that wouldn't really have worked except that the bubble bailed you out. But
I got lucky.
you did.
My
You did.
Zarya, this was a very good Zarya game.
Good. Good. So really, we would have probably said, "Hey, I'm nanoed. It's going to take her forever to take me down with actual damage, even when I'm frozen. And I'm nanoed. I do an extra 50% damage. And she was like point blank range on you." The solution was probably to go, "I can't shield against the blizzard. I can shield against her beam, but I can't shield against the blizzard. I'm going to get frozen. Let's just swing for the fences." That was probably the real solution there. But that's okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I built you out. There's okay. Yeah. Okay, we're going for the Hammond.
Yeah, because I was just trying to get back to the point.
No,
And-
because you're a Hammond expert now. Hammond one trick. Here we go. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so this is me getting ready to swap back to Reinhardt.
Hello. Greetings.
Moira's waving at you. Okay. No, waving at Winston. Okay. So if you were actually trying to play Hammond there, you could have touched cart and left. Because, like, you weren't really distracting those team members because those team members wanted to be on cart anyway. So they didn't really want to help the front line. But that's okay. Now we're back on the hero you want to be playing.
Yeah.
Is anyone on the opposing team on high ground?
No, I didn't know where anybody was at this point.
Right. Me neither.
Yeah, I had no idea where
But your
anybody
pin
was.
finished you like right here-ish. How easy would it have been to go, is anyone up here on high ground? Guess not. Cool. Are they? Okay, maybe I need to clear them type thing. And then I can drop from the side, or I can go over here and drop from the front, or I can go over here and drop from here. Like the high ground just gives you more options in your rotation back. Whereas now, this is okay. But you could have got here anyways, and you'd have had the option of clearing anyone that was on high ground.
Okay, fair enough. I was like worried about going anywhere by myself as Reinhardt, especially if I think there might be opponents up there. But
You're pretty good at 1v1s. Like, don't sell Reinhardt short in 1v1s. I just told you how to dual maze, but we could do the same thing with McCree's, with Divas. Like, I wouldn't sell Reinhardt short in 1v1s if you have your shield available to you.
okay, I will be. I'll be looking for those high ground opportunities more because this is the second time it came up.
While we're looking for those high ground opportunities more, what is this? What is this? Okay.
Am I standing too far out in the open here?
Oh, this isn't covered fire strike at all. Like you're looking at this, and you may think this thing to your right is your cover, but you're basically fire striking in the other team's face. Like this is just not really a thing. You do try to tuck bind cover here, and fortunately they do too, so it sort of looks okay. But like you had no distance between you and them. You were really close to them. You were like 2 steps away from swing range, right?
That's true.
So just use your shield and walk up and swing at them.
Okay.
For real. Trying it a bit. Okay, guess not. That could have been a fire strike. They weren't looking at you, which you didn't have yet. Oh, your favorite. Good. Why are we shield blocking?
Well, I felt like my teammates behind me were exposed to Mei shooting at them, and I realized that Zenyatta was in his ultimate now, but
Okay.
at that point in time, I was just, okay, safest way to move up. I'm not in a rush. I'm just trying to evaluate the situation and get back to the cart so it doesn't move.
Sure.
And stay alive.
Okay. So now where should you set up?
I will boost you.
Where should you set up right now?
This is where I chose to set up. But in retrospect, assuming anybody would follow me, I could go up to the high ground because there's enough time.
And even if they don't follow you, oh, they didn't follow me. That's annoying. I guess I'll drop back and I'm set up in the exact same spot, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Uh-oh. And these opponents pushed high ground. And we don't have it, so they're gonna get a drop on us whenever they like. We don't like this.
Yeah, this is a bad situation.
That's the best you can do.
Junkrat's got the right idea. Are you gonna key into it? Okay, they dropped. Good.
Yeah, that was the fight where I just got carried through it.
Yep. But that's fine. I mean, you do expect tires to get some value throughout the match. A little more pressure. You're gonna shatter. Yep. Fine, right at the end. Then tuck right, tuck right, tuck right. Good. Good. Okay, so you got the win, and that's good. and we're definitely happy that you got the win, and we can definitely see some improvements in being a little more aware of your health. There's still room to tighten it up of exactly when should you swing, when should you not swing. We can think a little bit more about the fire strikes. I was like, you're not fire striking in the open, but I think you're doing some fire striking in the open. I think some of the things that you're selling to yourself as not in the open are you having to do a sales job for they're not in the open. Either you're too early or it's things like this. So I think the improvement there is a little less good, but there's been some improvement there. We definitely see it. But what today, as you look at this, obviously there's stuff I can pick out for you. What today do you see that you go, hey, as we talked this through it, or as you saw it, you went, I don't really like what I'm seeing here, or I think we need to work on this. Do you have anything that jumps out at you?
Feel like most of the errors that I saw are rooted in. Sorry, am I still here?
You're good. You are.
Okay, sorry, I clicked on something. I feel like the errors were rooted in. I have a plan on what I'm going to do,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's some new variables coming in as I'm executing my plan, and it's taking me a long time to figure out what to do next, like
Sure.
how to react to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not reacting in time. Um, that's where I think a lot of my weakness on this hero is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Is I am taking too much time to evaluate the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and in the meantime, the game's like going on, and my teammates are
Sure.
dying or whatever else.
Sure.
So I feel like that's part of it. Another thing that I noticed was, when I decide to take things in my own hands, like especially when I have my
Shatter.
ultimate,
Yeah.
I'm just going a little bit too crazy, and I'm very much, I've just been very happy sacrificing myself for the greater good to take out a key opponent. So like I'll do that in this game. It was against the Bastion,
Mm-hmm.
but in a number of games I've had to do that against like a Reaper or yeah, it's usually a Bastion or a Reaper where they're just causing so many problems
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like it's do or die. While I have all six of my teammates up, I have to take them out, and if I die, so be it. And
Sure.
I don't know if that's always the right thing to do. I feel like, and I know in the context of if I was actually playing with other people, then it would be different, and I wouldn't have to do that. But that's kind of like what I've had to do to win some of these games.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I'm aware of.
So it's going to depend a bit on that second one because, like, if there's a Bastion bunker and you go, I'm going to pin and I pin and eliminate the Bastion and I get eliminated immediately after, fantastic trade. Because they've built their comp around having that Bastion and, like, yeah, we're not going to get anything done until he's gone, and you've given your team more than a chance. You've given them favorability to win in that situation. So there's situations where, yes, it makes sense, where you've gone, hey, I've done the calculation, and I just used my ult, but that Reaper has their ult. I need to eliminate them now, even if I get eliminated. Like, sure, there's places where that trade makes sense, but that trade is a little specific. The general rule is if you think you're ready to move up, if you think, you're better than your opponents, you need to sort of treat your life as more valuable than your opponent's, right? A simple trade isn't good enough unless you're in a situation already where the best you can do is trade. You can't get out. But again, there's absolutely exceptions to that for, hey, the enemy team's composition falls apart if we take out their Bastion, for example. The Bastion is just crushing us and we have to deal with it. So that's a fine-tuned thing you have to pick. I was actually reasonably happy with your shatters. I wasn't like, hey, you're going too wild after your shatters. For the most part, I wouldn't worry too much about your shatters. For your, hey, you need to make decisions faster thing, what I would say is continue with the old plan until you have a new plan. And your new plan can be, I'm going to cover. But your new plan can't be, I'm putting my shield up while I think about what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, we are doing the old plan. Even if the variables change, we are doing the old plan until we have a new plan. If the old plan was I'm going to go up and swing at that team, well, okay, when they transcendence, you should get a new plan real quick. But, like, we're doing the old plan mostly until we have our new plan. That's generally going to work better for you because Reinhardt will be punished for, like, you change your mind multiple times or you start to do one thing, then you do another, then you go back to the first. Like, that will hurt you. And I know you feel like you're slow to do stuff. Some of that we're going to fix with over time with, like, you see transcendence and you just automatically shield. Like the opposing team is Transcendence to not purple, you either hit a pin or you shield. That's just what you do. You don't have to think about it. That's just autopilot. That's something that we build into your autopilot, and that frees up your brain space for other things, and then you can make decisions faster. So like some of this is we train the habit so you just do the stuff so you don't have to think about it, and the others, well, we've trained so many habits that you now have lots of brain space free to quickly solve something when something new comes up. So if we were to get into micro things, like those are sort of your macro things, and I'm okay with those as macro things. If, hey, continue what you're doing until you have a new plan would be good for you. The other macro thing I would cover would be, hey, there's still more to be done on your shield management. Last time we covered a bit more on watching your health and responding, but I actually, but what you respond to your health with is your shield, right? You're like, hey, I can stabilize with my shield if my health is a problem. Well, the next layer of that is we got to make sure you have adequate shield, and part of why you're not having adequate shield is because of this decision-making thing, right?
Yeah, but there were also situations where I just wasn't patient too. Like that first
Right.
push
You got it.
when we cleared that high ground. It was sketchy getting up there, but we got up there and cleared the high ground,
Yep.
and then I dropped down probably too early with like 300 shield health.
Yep.
And then at that point, I was like, wow, I'm down here, and I guess it's party time because I don't know what else to do. Because I'm always just like, I'm always skeptical that if I'm not leading the fight, the rest of my team, they're freaking out. They
Yeah,
don't know
you're
what
the
to do.
shepherd, and your sheep are gonna go
Right.
wander off if you go. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, especially because I'm not in voice or anything. I'm just like, driving the boat.
Yep.
So I just, especially, I guess lucky this game was a good example because I had a really good Zarya,
Okay.
relatively speaking, who was being patient with me. So I could have taken advantage of that. And
Okay.
I could have just been more patient in that situation. So
Okay.
yeah, there were definitely moments where I was going in too early and with not enough shield.
Agreed. There was definitely situations where you went in too early without enough shield, and we can do we judge the engagement timings, and like you just saw the Hammond review where we're judging the engagement timings based on where our teammates are, etc. And you do the same thing with Reinhardt, but a more complicated version of are my teammates here? Are my teammates in positions where they can go in? Like the next level of engagement timing is what do the team's respective cooldowns look like? Do we have Rein Shield? Do they have Zarya Bubbles? Do they have Roadhog Hook? Do we have Maywall? Like, do they have Lamp? Do we have Amp? Like, you're sort of running a tally of those things and going, this is actually a good time to push. We have advantage right now, not just neutral. Or we have neutral when usually we'd have a disadvantage because they'd have defender's positional advantage. Like you start running your tally on that, and like the first thing is how many people are alive on each team and are they positioned appropriately for your team to go in. But your like very next layer to that is do you have your shield and health? And sometimes you'll push without those things, but it's because big things are missing on the other side. More than was missing for that Winston, right?
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and because I'm so focused on just managing my own abilities and focused on my path and everything else, I am not thinking at all about what's happening on the other team,
And it's a
other than body count.
and it's a lot.
And like back in the day, I'm talking like season 6, 7,
Yep.
8. I was playing Zenyatta, and
Yep.
literally like all I had to think about was what's the other team gonna do.
Yep.
So I know what that's like,
Sure.
but it's just there's a lot going on, and
For sure.
I feel like this is like a really big, just kind of barrier in my playing in general. No matter which hero is keeping track of everything, because I'm always so focused on what am I doing right now? How am I? Am I safe? Do I have someone right in front of me I should kill? Is there an ultimate that's like happening?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difficult thing to do, but I think that this hero lends itself toward having to focus on that problem, if that makes sense.
Yes, it very much does, because whether or not you can start the fight has a lot to do with what the status there is. And it's always going to be hard, and you're never going to truly track everything. You're going to let some cooldowns go. Do you really care about the status of McCree's combat roll? Not really. Do you really care about the status of Moira's orb? probably not that much. You're going to deprioritize some in favor of others. You follow what I'm saying? Because it's just too much for you to follow. Do you really care whether your Anna has do you really care whether your Ashe has coach weapon or not when you start a push? Probably not. You just have to go like, hey, let me track some of the stuff that you think is more important, and you work your way out, and you just grab a couple abilities at a time to track. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and like I can track key ultimates on the other team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm aware enough to be like, okay, there's gonna be coalescence, or there's gonna be earth shatter or grav coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. And honestly, I could just hit tab and see what my team has too.
Yep.
And even though I'm not talking to them, be like, oh, okay, well, we're probably going to use dragons here. So
Mm-hmm.
that's probably something that I can think about. So there's
Okay.
some low hanging fruit. But I'm glad we spent the time just to focus on like my Reinhardt
Sure.
uh, mechanics, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is like last couple weeks have been really good.
Good. Good. Okay, then I think we've got some stuff for you to work on here. I mean, I want a little more cleanup on that fire strike. We want to obviously take note when you're swinging into transcendences. We've talked a little bit about clearing the high ground and what that does for your team. And then we have, sort of, okay, let's peel back the curtain a little. This is sort of what comes next for enabling your pushes. But I think we've had some good stuff here. Do you have any questions, comments, special things beyond this that you want answered to work on, anything like that?
Just the last thing was that decision to swap to Sigma.
Mm-hmm.
I did that because I felt like my shield, I couldn't shield all of the angles that I was being attacked from.
Sure.
And so it felt like I wasn't really providing anything. Like I couldn't even get in far enough to do any damage.
I preferred your
Protecting
previous
anybody.
solution. Your previous solution was to take the outside on Reinhardt, and that's the same as taking your high ground. You just don't realize it. Where you go out here and you take the outside, and you sort of squish them out. When you take high ground from people as Reinhardt, you're squishing their angles. You're squishing down their angles. When you swung out here on Reinhardt, which you did do once, you're
Yeah.
squishing their angles. You're taking away their number of angles by going like this to like get them back into a more lateral one direction versus one direction fight. So I actually preferred this solution to going Sigma, especially because when you went Sigma, you spent a lot of time pushing main.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's it. Thank you so much for the help today.
no
We
problem.
will have another session soon.
Sounds good. I look forward to it. Good luck, man.